politics of who dominates the opposition. They are not interested in leadership. They are not interested in governance. They are not interested in being in positions where they really decide. They are comfortable with the opposition, and the best they can do is what we are given, lip service. I am going to do ABCD. Now, the Baganda say, ebigambo, rhetoric. Rhetoric. The rhetoric from Kavule, from the councillors, from FDC, Katonga, Najana Nkumbi. Tebigula mata. What the people, I reside in Kampala, capital city. I work in Kampala. That's where I earn my bread from. And it's disgusting when you have flies all over Kampala. The stench represents the kind of stench that comes from the leaders. The leaders, what Kampala is right now reflects exactly what the leaders are. If Kampala is full of garbage, the answer is very rhetoric.
That's mean.
It's not mean.
I thought this garbage thing would actually unite these people. They will be working for a good cause. It's for a good cause. They can see how terrible the city is now with garbage heaps all over. The city is maybe very soon we're going to be having flies here and there, and ultimately disease outbreak. But you can still see they are divided, politicking, like you said.
They can only offer rhetoric, politics. They can only offer what you hear coming from Kavule and what you hear coming from Katonga.
But against that cause, I think you're sounding unfair.
I'm not being unfair.
Why mention just two political parties? The executive, the technical wing itself, which is led by executive. We have a minister of Kampala. Have you seen them being so busy? So if you are talking about ugly politics, then don't focus on the opposition. Maybe you should also include Chadondo.
I have told you, at least in the last show, that Satan has a role to play. And that role to play is to critique, is to find blemish. You understand? Now, I would be happy to understand that the opposition in City Hall are turning their guns to the NRM and their lack of failure to perform. You understand? Now, they have delved into pettiness, peripherals. They're on the peripheral, on the edge. There are discussions at the moment, and not discussions that help to improve the metropolis. They are not discussions to help how we manage our cesspool. You know, when it rains.
Yeah. Sure.
I don't know whether it's systematic, whether it's planned. I see sewage coming up from everywhere. It doesn't matter. Kororo, Wuzigao, it doesn't matter. When it rains, everyone wants to release. You understand? I don't know whether they've made bylaws for that. I don't know whether...
But I've never heard even those in charge condemning it.
Because that for them is not an issue. What we want to see in Kampala is a flow of traffic, is air quality, less pollution. I don't see them sitting down and seeing all this pollution going around construction sites. I don't see them legislate bylaws to get revenue from the ongoing construction sites, planning buildings. I've seen them allow people construct skyscrapers without plans in Kampala here. I have not, in fact, if for lack of a better word, they are not skilled in managing the affairs of the metropolis.
They're incompetent.
Yes, they are inept. I think the real right English word is ineptness.
They now talk about the technical wing, right?
No.
These are politicians.
See,
you have to blame
they are Samir's twins. The technical wing and the political wing are Samir's twins. They are connected by brain. You understand? You can't have a surgery to separate them. One has to die. Now, the political wing has realized that over time,
these politicians that were like the councillors and the Lord Mayor and his entire team, the council, you don't expect them to be skilled, in areas that you're talking about, like construction, like what? For them, they are there to sit, pass policies, bylaws, like you said.
Now, what bylaws have they passed? For instance, in Chitezi, the very same bylaw they passed under KCCA that stopped private actors from dumping waste in Chitezi. They themselves, KCCA, allowed them without penalty, because they are busy dealing with who takes the tender to collect rubbish, who gets the brokerage fee on purchasing land in Dundu, Mukono. Now, who gets the tender on street parking? That's what they are interested in rather than the real picture. What do residents of Kampala Metropolitan, KCCA, benefit from the leadership provided by the Lord Mayor, in quotes, the Lord Mayor without a house of what? House of Lords and Lord Councillors. You see,
a House of Lords.
We don't have a House of Lords.
It's meant to have one because it's the Lord Mayor.
Yes, where is it? Where do they sit? To discuss. You see, you can only be a lord or a baroness.
Yes.
Or a duke. Number one, if your interest is economic in Kampala, you have buildings. I would expect maybe Bosco Muwonge to be a lord in Kampala. Because if Kampala is on fire, his economic interest is threatened.
The Drake Rubega.
Yes, I would expect Drake Rubega to be a lord. To be a lord to determine how. Because if they're going to pass a bylaw on cesspool,
yes.
you know they build these arcades and then make tenants, charge tenants for toilet fees. You understand? So where is KCCA in regulating all this? Where is the regulator? Where is the green in Kampala?
You don't feel their presence.
They are inept. They are not up to the task.
You spoke of green. And it just reminded me. And I was here to talk about this. Remember at the beginning of this year when you had now, when these gentlemen planted those trees, were they palm trees or something?
Palm trees.
In just 2 weeks they started, showing signs of drying off. When you look for them now, you can't find any.
And the knee-jerk reactions.
And do you know how much you injected into that project?
It is laughable.
This is theft.
If you it's laughable if you see what people in KCCA councils are doing vis-a-vis what Kampala, residents of Kampala expect from them. So, well, it goes back to those who elected them, because you see, leaders and the electorate, we call it the mirror image principle. There is this notion that says, mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all? When you look in the mirror and you see yourself, you understand? The mirror tells you are the fairest. So the leadership reflect what the electorate are. You understand? Because the electorate elect themselves. So if the electorate chose politicking over service delivery, then this is what they're giving you.
I want to agree with you on that, because even yesterday I was here wondering, where are the Kampala dwellers as all this is happening? The garbage heaps are there, and for them they are not bothered. They're not bothered. The other day they were even blocking reporters from covering, those heaps of garbage. I thought people would come out, like they've always come out to protest against, certain things they feel they're not doing right. This is okay with them. They're seeing garbage everywhere and they are quiet. Nobody's coming out to ask a question. Where is the leadership of Kampala? Where are they? And now here the man is trying to stop, the purchase of the land. Where if it was purchased, the earlier the better, because we could start seeing this garbage being taken there. But now he's trying to stand in this way, politicking again. And for us, it's like we are comfortable with whatever they do, whatever they say.
And rightly, you've stated it rightly, so that, you see, if you spend a long time in hell, human beings' bodies and mindsets are created to adapt. You can adapt filth, and you view it as something glorious. You understand? People in Kampala have forgotten the olden, clean, fresh air smelling Kampala of Jennifer Musisi very fast. Yeah. It is amazing.
You're overpraising her.
I'm not overpraising her. We used to have a fountain around Watoto.
You're impressed by her work?
Why not? In a very short time. Just look at what she did to transform KCCA.
You're being considerate to those who she stepped on.
No,
businesses were, destroyed.
For the good of the city. And her mission was executed with Machiavellian precision. This was her forte. She was born to do this work. Whoever has replaced her, maybe simply they are not aware. They have no knowledge of how to run a city. We used to have a carnival. Used to cover it.
By the way, that annual carnival, where did it go?
We used to have fountains in Kampala here. We
But
have to,
generally speaking,
we used to have green belts.
the power that Jennifer Ray possessed when she was doing her work, and also that kind of authority, surely, had the authority that you would feel. But her successors, when you look at them, Dorothy Chisaka,
I don't think she has the blessings. Don't follow her.
I've even forgotten the name.
Dorothy Chisaka, unfortunately, our good sister Dorothy Chisaka, blessings don't follow you. You understand? All those blessings were taken Jennifer Musisi wherever she is. Now,
or it's the appointer who discouraged him. Remember what he said about Jennifer, the one you're praising right now? After that election of 2016? It was like, I lost Kampala, or I lost in Kampala because of Jennifer. A lady that you praised, how she had transformed Kampala and now turned out to be, someone who's causing the president or the NRM to lose in the elections. So if her successors had such words, they were like, oh, looks like it's hard to impress this man. I better, be careful. And so they're being careful. That's why you've not seen them, like we used to see Jennifer Musisi, always exchanging with Lukwago, fighting here and there. But with Dorothy Chisaka, I think Lukwago is enjoying a very good working relationship with her.
I know the president has now a very clean man, very clean, a man interested in a good working environment, a natural environment. He's one of the topmost residents of KCCA at Nakasero State Lodge here. You understand? Full of splash green, fresh air, singing birds. We're not talking about vultures and pavard and these scavengers that are in downtown and all these Marlboro stocks, Kalori.
Birds with
peacocks, peacocks, what do they call, parrots, mockingbirds that are in State Lodge Nakasero. That kind of environment is what other people who dwell in Kampala should be enjoying.
So he's being selfish to keep it only to himself.
No.
Because he has the power to extend it. He does have the power to extend it.
I am responding to the assertion that it's actually by design that Dorothy Chisaka should come and make the city pale instead of flowery the way Jennifer Musisi did. No, I don't think so. The issue is that the quality of the technical wing appointed by the president is quite disappointing in that it has failed to deliver on the promise. The promise is to make Kampala look as natural as possible, enjoyable for each one of us, those who work there and those who dwell in it. Understand? I am disappointed with the performance. And if the job is a key performance indicator job, if it's based on self-assessment, if I were the president, I would fire Dorothy Chisaka and the entire technical wing. I would fire all the ministers of Kampala.
Why?
They have not offered the wisest of counsel to the president on how to manage the metropolitan affairs. I will fire. Politically, I will make sure that never again should any opposition ever take on Kampala, you understand, to fail the development agenda. You understand about that? Because you see, the politicking in Kampala has not helped a lot.
Kampala has always been led by the opposition.
It has been led by the opposition. But at the dawn of Jennifer Musisi, we could have traces of national resistance movement.
Yeah, we show
the city council.
We saw like suppression by the executive, trying to or the government suppressing the leadership, which was the opposition, and so that's when you saw them overtaking, even hijacking some of their roles. You remember Yasuko coming out saying, even should leave such work to me. My roles, my responsibilities have been hijacked by the executive.
You see, the city is not for Elias Lukwago alone. This is the nation's capital. It holds key assets it is the center.
And he was elected.
He was elected to lead City Hall. He was not elected to manage and govern this country. That's why, from the fact,
the policies that he makes from
you see, the mayor in Lukwago is not as powerful as the mayor in Sebana and Sebagala and Ayafes Walusim. Those had real executive power to run the city. But by design, the law of KCCA only relegates Lukwago and his Lord Councillors, Lord, I told you, in courts, Lord Councillors, to mere lip service. They cannot do anything apart from formulating good policies and lobbying enough the central government to invest in those policies.
So
now, what they do, since they are sour graping, since they are sour graping, they are crybabies. What they do, they can only play to the gallery, to the media, on pettiness about the fight between the executive council and the council headed by a noob speaker. That's what we see. That's what we are treated to. You understand? Now, so, in that regard, the people who suffer at the end run become those who dwell and work in Nakasero here in the market, because I will not go buy vegetables with these chirungube, you know chirungube, the great blue-greenish fly, flying all over the place. I cannot. All the restaurants, all the hotels that are being constructed here, with the stench coming from Kampala, it will get to them up there. There's no flashy living in Kampala. It is not good. It is not healthy to live in Kampala with people who do not have the mastery in management of metropolitan affairs, and they are traveled people. The Lord Mayor is always traveled.
This issue cuts across. Let's not focus on the Lord Mayor, this thing, council. The technical team, you're trying to exempt them. You're trying to exempt them.
They say they were elected. The technical team is appointed. Now I have told you, if our president, I'm not president, but if our president, and if Dorothy Chisaka team, their job is based on performance, individual assessment, performance. I'm sure government employees in scheduled corporations go through assessments to understand, have you delivered? Are the deliverables available for you to renew a contract? I would fire Dorothy Chisaka from the position of she's not cut out. She's not cut out to do the job. I will fire her deputy. I will fire all the directors.
Where have you cited her incompetence? Because of
incompetence is quite a big thing.
What are some of the expectations you had in her? Do you feel that she has failed?
I would expect Dorothy Chisaka to perform sevenfolds what Jennifer Musisi did. I would expect the city to be lit up. During the time of Jennifer Musisi, it was a law that the city must be bright. You understand? The city is dark. All street lights have been vandalized. You understand? Under her stewardship. Now, the green belts that constitute Kampala, that bring fresh air to Kampala, the air that we breathe. You understand? Jennifer Musisi had started on the project of greening Kampala, and it was a crime. I remember my car only just packed a few inches, and you had to go to court or pay a fine.
Remember
what happened to that?
People were so careful not stepping on it.
Yes, and Kampala was green. It was green. It was green. The issue of sweeping Kampala roads, picking the rubbish and all that. This is an initiative of Jennifer Musisi. What has happened to it during this time? The infights, failure to pay workers.
And all those good things you're
talking about. What happened to the carnival?
And all those good things you're talking about. The appointing authority got all of them and pushed them down the drain. When he came out and said that he was not impressed by Jennifer because of those activities, Kampala dwellers got so bitter, and so they responded by not voting for the NRM.
Okay.
If you are the one to succeed Jennifer, and you hear such a statement, when you come to that office, it means you're going to try level best to be soft. And that's what Dorothy is doing. I don't want to upset the president.
You see,
I don't want to annoy these people. And in the end, they don't vote for the NRM. And the president blames him.
And you see, you know BTM TV? We are being watched on DSTV. It's on DSTV. Now, DSTV has a notion. When you have the best, you cannot accept something less. You understand? When you have a Jennifer Musisi as an executive director and her works, you understand? It is incumbent on whoever is appointing or whoever is receiving the appointment. Because you see, Chisaka does not preside over, it does not technically advise on a city of cows or goats or animals. People. We have stake in saying that, look, the way we see things, for us who have traveled quite some time, you're doing a bad job. You understand? This is accepting less. This is equivalent to what David Lutalo sings in his song, that omufumbi. Olekawo omufumbi aina emputa. No yesunsa. You understand? So if we are to juxtapose the kind of leadership style of Dorothy Chisaka and Jennifer Musisi, we are eating sunsa instead of eating Nile Patch emputa. You get? So I must complain because honestly speaking,
that's really unfair to do.
I am not being unfair. I am being kind.
No, the Sunsa also has its
benefit,
benefits.
But Emputa exceeds. You understand? Exceeds those. Look at the carnival. Now you see KCCA.
You must be missing it a lot.
Actually, I never attended it, but my kids attended it,
oh.
and I saw so many people in Kampala attending it. I saw
Just bring so many.
and you see, this was not an initiative of government. It was not the budget of government to organize a carnival. It was a social corporate networking or lobbying initiative of Jennifer Musisi to invite private players, private companies to invest in the carnival. That one needs to sit down and go to offices of MDs, offices of CEOs of these companies, and they organize the carnival. What is wrong with doing that? Does that need a budget? Is it going to affect the consolidated fund? We are just missing the point. I think she's overqualified for the job, or she's underqualified for a job. She must be a town clerk of maybe Nansana municipality instead of being the executive director of KCCA. And I'm not being biased. I've not seen her. I have nothing against her.
And she's so quiet. I don't know the last time we heard from her.
But her style, she's so passive. She's so passive in a position that it requires someone to be out there, to be proactive, to be lobbying for sponsors, to be lobbying to be insertive, to be explaining to the chief executive that fountains are needed in Kampala. That along Entebbe Road you don't need that sign of welcome to Kampala. We need coffee, we need bananas, just like if you went to Malaysia.
Council, we may not know what is happening in those offices. But what if that is what her boss wants?
I have not seen it.
Because if that's not what he wanted, you know Museveni, President Museveni. He's reactionary. You don't impress him, he sees you out. But he has kept her. Meaning she's impressing her. That's how he wants her to run the city. I just told you, the Jennifer you're praising here, the president seemed not to be impressed. And that explains why he came out and watered down whatever she had done. That all those good things you're talking about. In fact, even what the last person saw that really the lady had transformed the city. But according to the president, by doing that, you annoyed my people, who ultimately never voted for me. Probably when Dorothy came in, she was, okay, let me give you an example. You remember when the former vice president, Edward Kwenka was handing over to the current vice president. You remember his advice to her? His counsel was, please, try your level best not to upset your boss. That was the advice from the outgoing vice president, the incoming vice president. Maybe when Saka was also entering office, somebody advised her, please, yes, you are the leader of the technical wing, but don't do things, don't go overboard. Otherwise, you may not even impress your boss. You're going to be hated by the Kampala dwellers. And also boss not going to be impressed, so you end up losing on both ends.
Now look, you've brought the example of the vice president. The vice president in Latin means vice president, not the president. So the vice president in the Ugandan context is an assistant to the president. He's not a waltz, a Tim Waltz of Kamala Harris. He's not Kamala Harris of Joe Biden. They are not running mates. Understand? The president only elects an assistant to help him on delegated missions. Now, it takes wisdom of one who is occupying the office to understand that indeed, in the order of precedence, they are the second. However, in terms of executing the roles of the presidency, they are just assisted. You understand? Jessica Alupo is an assistant to the president. That's the structure of the constitution.
Work in his absence.
Work in his absence. Work when he has told you to work. Oh. Keep quiet when he has told you to keep quiet.
When he's out of the country, Jessica Alupo is not the president?
I have seen the first lady, who is a minister of education, delegate duties to the vice president. You understand? To the prime minister, who is the lead of government business. Now, who is the boss?
Wait, have you seen that, really?
It happens.
I've not seen that.
It happens. What am I trying to tell you? What am I trying to tell you? The structure of our constitution does not allow such offices to run the way you expect them to run, because they don't have that sort of power. Now, the office of the executive director of Kampala Capital City Authority, the one who initiated the office, the first occupant of the office, gave you a precursor of what the office is. You understand? It will be extremely dangerous. It will be career suicide. It will be career suicide to go under that office, to accept an appointment in that office without having power sevenfolds of what Jennifer Musisi, because then you'll be an underperformer. You understand? That's why people like me don't believe that the president likes the way the city is being run. The president flies in a Gulfstream 550.
Well, he must be happy.
First class living. State House. Those who have had the benefit of going there, you understand? That's not the president who would want a stinky smelling Kampala walking along his footsteps.
He's here. He passes through Kampala on a daily basis.
On his 80th birthday.
And he has not made any changes in leadership. Meaning he's happy, he's impressed.
You must have followed what the president and the first lady did in Nakaseke over the weekend. In his 80th birthday celebrations in Nakaseke, he made an apology, what the Catholics call penitencia. One, for their own shortcomings. As a family, for over the years, they've stewarded this country. But they also made an apology for those they've given government duties and they've absconded.
And you accept that apology?
Yes, I have to.
Yeah, you have the power to appoint and to fire. If you feel I'm not in executing my roles as expected, why don't you fire me? If you keep me there, then you should be the one to be blamed.
You see, the Waganda have a saying, and also that we give birth to bodies, but we don't give birth to spirits. The spirits are not our creation. You understand? You might be your father's son, but your character could be extremely very, very different. I think it is within the heart of the president and the first lady to have this because you see, the apology was based on, number one, suffering, pain, and abject poverty. You understand? Now, if you have a city, they did apologize.
Because they're the cause.
Yeah, because under their leadership for the last 38, 40 years, you understand, when they were in charge of this country, it is their duty. If we are asking the questions why we have Kasasiro at State House, you understand, why we have sewage spilling all over the streets of Kampala Road, why we have garbage killing Ugandans, I think it was the wisest thing that has ever been done by our leaders since the formation of this country called Uganda. Apology. Because the Baganda say,
why don't you walk out? If the question asking cancer as we take a break. Why don't you walk out, step aside? You failed because you have admitted yourself that, look here, I've failed, here and here and here. Why don't you step aside?
I'll respond that with a question. Who invited me to come in?
You see now? So this apology then, you don't really mean it.
No, you do.
You're just politicking. What are you apologizing for?
The apology is
the only good thing you can do if you realize that you have failed, because close to 40 years, Council, we've really run out of ideas. Whatever ideas you had come with, you must have executed them within that time. You can't lie to me that at 80 now, President Museveni can sit down and think of something new. Whatever good things he had planned to do for us, he has done. And whatever he has not done, he doesn't have that in his capacity.
You see,
so
it is
if he admits that he has failed, somehow, somewhere, then the only good thing he can do, other than saying that, coming to apologize, like you said, I didn't watch his speech, unfortunately. The good thing he can do is, it could be like, okay, here, I stop. I'm stepping down, let another person come and take over the mantle. That's the only good thing that people, in fact, there, you're going to be forgiven. Other than you coming out to issue apologies and then you continue to stay, imposing yourself on
another question. Hand over to who? Dorothy Chisaka?
Is it the only one this one?
Who? Robert Kyagulanyi. Even if...
So wait, are you part of that group which believes that President is the only one with the
No. Even if you got power, executive power in the presidency, dropped it onto a person who is not designed, you understand? Who is not skilled with the affairs of the state, you understand? You'll see what is happening in Kampala, spread over the country. What am I saying? The president's age and the president for longevity.
Why did did their council? Because when you come back, I also want us to look at that. In 2026, President Museveni is going to be making 82 years. Yesterday I was telling you people that I've all seen how 80 people in their 80s behave. You'll be awake for 3 hours and then he wants to rest for 30, minutes. Let's take a break. The break continues shortly. Don't go away.
Discover delicacy at Café 2, your all-in-one destination. Whether it's the perfect cup of coffee or a satisfying meal, we got you covered. Indulge your cravings with our mouth-watering pilau, savoury katogo, crispy chips, and tender chicken. Explore our world of cocktails and fresh juices for a truly special treat. Planning an event? Choose Café 2 for top-notch outside catering services. Benefit from ample parking, stay connected with Wi-Fi, and catch your favorite matches on DSTV. Café 2 offers food deliveries in and around Kampala. Hosting a conference, our center accommodates up to 1,000 people. Need a boardroom for a party or corporate meeting? We've got just the spot for you. We offer a free venue for birthdays and baby showers, providing complimentary photography. For those aspiring to become professional baristas, our barista school awaits you. Visit us at Albany Center, Level 2 on Ginger Road. Café 2, where every occasion becomes a memorable experience.
Uliyunga wikakasa ddoboozi lyo weetaaga okutumbula ekitundu eky'omukuyimba kankikasiireko BTM TV akuleetedde Raise Your Mic yimba ate ensonga za kuyimbira ku live band ngate abawanguzi bakwewangulya ebirabo eby'enjawulo okuli obukadde bw'ensimbi 5 pikipiki kapyata okulikodinga ennyimba mu audio ne vidiyo n'ebirabo ebirala bingi obwetaba mu Raise Your Mic genda ku ssimu yo nyiga *2M7 *007# olondeko option ya Raise Your Mic olondeko option ya Participate osindike message butereevu ojja kuba weetabye mu auditions wano ku BTM TV abaana babayiseemu ku mutendera oguddako bakulondebwa abalabi baffe aba BTM era beewangulira ebirabo biwugiddwa Simba Automotives ne bikutuusibwako BTM TV.
Thank you so much for staying with us. You're still watching the Daybreak with me, Derisa Mwonge. I'm not alone in the studios, but rather I'm with Council Funya Derek, and he's sharing with us his perspectives, on these issues. We focused on Kampala and its smell. Wherever you are standing, you're seeing a heap of garbage. Just because Kite is a bust. It's coming to 2 months now. People have not figured out where they're going to be dumping garbage. Yesterday, you saw the Lord Mayor telling you I was going to stand in the way of the technical wing not to buy that land because he fears that there are people who want to, you know, to benefit from this. In other words, he's fighting corruption. And when we took a break, we said that we were going to talk about President Museveni. Council here hinted on his 80th birthday, which I've seen some people question. And I'm like, if you really doubt that President Museveni is not 80 and is slightly, or, you know, older than that, then he must be a strong man. Mm-hmm. He must be a strong man. Because if you claim he's 80 and the man can still stand for 2 hours, he must be a really strong man. Me, I wouldn't feel offended if I was President Museveni. If people doubt my age, and they say, no, you're not just 80, you are 90, I would be like, oh, if I'm 90 and I can still do what I do. Then, but the question you're posing, Council, realistically speaking, beyond 80, can someone continue to offer good leadership? We are talking about a man who himself at one time admitted that beyond 75, someone is really worn out. They can't, you know, continue being as good as they were.
You see, the discussion of age has not started with President Museveni attaining 80 years of age. Back then, about 5,000 years ago, 6,000 if I'm not mistaken, there was a debate amongst the Israelites at Moses' 80th birthday.
Moses the prophet.
Moses. You see, Moses led the Israelites out of Egypt when he was 40 years.
Yes.
Being I'm a general and a prince of Egypt. He led the Israelites out of Egypt when he was 40 years. And he led the other Israelites for 40 years in the wilderness. It made it 80. Now there was a debate between his brother Aaron and his sister Miriam. Why is it that it's only God who speaks to you, Moses? Can't we also go and do it?
We are your siblings.
Can we also go to the mountain Sinai and talk to God? Is it only you? We don't think you even have
casting doubt on his prophecy.
Yes, we don't even have doubt that you are young enough. You are young enough to continue leading us. We see you snoring. We see you going into a deep sleep. Then one day, God saw the intricacies, the debate, and then called Moses to the mountain with the others. At 80 years, God gave Moses the strength to go up Mountain Sinai. You understand? At 80 years, he would do it as if he was a young man. And the young man, midway, would collapse. Now, you see, to lead a nation, it takes the wisdom.
Comes with your examples.
These are actual examples. I'm not the one who created them. It's God Almighty. But
I'm waiting right now. You're going to relate it.
Yes. Now, what am I trying to say? That the president,
maybe 80, but
the president is 80 years, and that's a celebration that we got. You understand?
Yes.
But at the level of his leadership, what he needs the most, you understand, is counsel rather than the physical ability. Counsel. You understand? And if you've looked at the trends, the president is now and has now started surrounding himself with young people, with new ideas. His aim, he recognizes, just like he did in Nakaseke, that he falters as a person. His government falters, it's full of corruption, it's full of misadvice, it's full of brokers, abamutomeza, and all that. But then he also recognizes that it is time to transition. But as it transitions to a Joshua, because not Aaron or Miriam got the opportunity of leading the Israelites. In fact, what God did to them was punishment. He gave them leprosy. All of them, for questioning the ability of, leprosy is called ebigenge in Uganda, for questioning the ability of God's own chosen servant on his mission. President Museveni has a mission. And for the last 40 years, that mission has been carried out. Not without defaults, not without skirmishes, not without blemishes.
The mission in whose interest?
The
His
mission,
personal interest or in the interest of the country?
The president.
But I think he answered that question some time back. Let me answer my question. I posed the question, let me answer it my own. Because the president himself answered it. Because I was asking, you talk of his mission. And is the mission in the interest of the country or his personal interest. He came out and said, look here, I'm fighting for my personal interest. I'm not your servant. These are his own words. The man who comes after every 5 years asking Ugandans to appoint, to elect him, re-elect him, he came out and said, I am not your servant. I'm here fighting for my personal interests.
Now,
and you want us to continue?
You see, what you do not understand is the interpretation. Is the interpretation of the president's word. Okay. Now, you have a mission here at BTM. You have a mission. A mission is to present a show with utmost professionalism and to enrich our viewers' views about things and current affairs. That's your mission. But you see, it's personal in such a way that it is your God-given mission to teach and educate our viewers. So once it gets to masses, then the mission ceases to be personal, though it is personal in pursuit, but it's to the benefit of the masses. Now, leadership is slavery. What people do not understand, Museveni cannot come from Nakasero and go to Nakasero State Lodge and go to State House, to go Nakasero Market and eat a Rolex. It's impossible. He's in a moving prison, you understand? For the last how many years, he's been in a moving position and he put himself there with his family. He cannot go and do a deal of a Chibanja, crack a deal of a Chibanja and get happiness. For him, happiness comes in piecemeal. You understand what I'm trying to say? He's ever thinking about, he's carrying a head. Heavy is his head because he's carrying the crown of Uganda on his head. He made sound for the naysayers.
That is by choice.
Yes, it's by choice because it is his personal.
He has a choice to
his personal mission and his God-given mission is to make sure he liberates Uganda. He's a revolutionary. He liberates Africa, East Africa, and to bring economic transformation. The age, listen, the age will not enable Museveni accomplish that mission. There must be a Joshua somewhere who is being trained, who is being nurtured, who is being taught into the issues of state affair management.
Is he ready to provide that space?
Now,
is he?
Even if he doesn't, there was a time in the Bible, Moses was called to Mount Sinai and he never came back. He never came back. And then the Spirit of the Lord went on to Joshua and told him, my servant Moses has passed on. The president has predicted that he's soon going to heaven. He indeed is going to heaven. He's telling you the truth. At his age, he cannot tell you lies. He's telling you the truth. But he's worried now. He's worried now. What is in his mind now is a transition. What the naysayers cannot see is that that transition is taking effect. Now, you must be positioned in such a way that this transition finds you ready to handle the mantle of being a head of state. And that's to make the difficult decisions on who lives and who dies. And whether to send our men and women, young men, to uniform, to come back in what? Flag-strapped coffins and all that. This is what they call the presidency. It's not just for anyone. It's not a superstar gig. It's not a concert extra. It's not Charenga extra. These are matters of managing the affairs of the state, and they are very serious in nature. Now, us who are looking at the president and who are looking at events, because he's not going to reinvent the wheel. The president of the Republic of Uganda at 80 will not reinvent the wheel. You understand? His predecessors, 6,000 years ago, I told you, at the beginning of time, you understand? A man like him steered this country, or steered the people, into a 40-year journey of liberation. As we speak right now, his descendant, Netanyahu, is at the helm, at the Lucid Party, is at the helm of the Israelites.
Netanyahu is Moses' descendant.
Yes, he comes from the tribe of Benjamin. He comes from the tribe of Benjamin. Now, he's here leading the Israelites with an economy of 400 billion.
I hope you don't want to tell us that they share the same traits.
I am telling you, you understand, I'm not reinventing the wheel.
Netanyahu and Moses.
I told you they are descendants. The tribe of Benjamin, Benjamin was the youngest son of Jacob. Benjamin produced the first king of Israel, who was Saul, you understand? But the promise of Saul was to the tribe of, the promise of kings was to the tribe of Judah. whom Jesus comes from, whom David comes from, whom Netanyahu comes from. Now, what we are seeing as the reign of President Museveni is a liberation of the people, is a liberation of the country, but there are some things, and I've told it on TV, he does not have time to take a Ugandan to the moon. So the modern day Uganda may not be the mission of President Museveni.
Okay.
But economic transformation, stability, peace, and an opportunity for every Ugandan to pursue their dream. That is his life mission, and once he's accomplished with that, because he will accomplish it, you understand? He will accomplish it, someone else will take over the mantle, but that someone must be ready to take on the mantle.
Thank you so much, Council Lufunya Derek, for you there. Thank you so much, our dear viewers. We've come to the end of this edition of the Day Break. My name is Idrissa Mwonge. From the team, we wish you a good day. Goodbye for now. I'll see you there.